The Hebrides Islands lie off the west coast of Scotland and have 45,000 inhabitants. In 1949, they were experiencing an epidemic of alcoholism that was breaking up families. The entire younger generation had utterly rejected the church. Two sisters in their 80s, one deaf and another crippled with arthritis, began to pray for their community. They prayed from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. 2 or 3 times per week for 6 weeks. Then elders of a local church began to pray in a barn on 2 evenings every week for several weeks. They were convicted of their own sin and sought Christ's forgiveness. They invited a preacher from the mainland to come for 10 days. He arrived 10 days later. On his way from the ferry at 9 p.m., he stopped at the church to see where the meetings would be held the following night. He found 300 people at the church, even though no meeting had been called for that evening. At 11 p.m., 600 more people arrived without invitation. A few minutes later, 100 young people who had been at a dance appeared at the church. Approaching midnight, they had 1,000 people in a church that seated 800. The spontaneous meeting continued until 4 a.m. As the guest preacher left that hour, a policeman approached and asked him to come to the police station next door to the house of the two elderly sisters, where 400 more people were gathered. Nightly meetings then occurred at 4 churches for 5 weeks. In 3 years' time, virtually the entire Hebrides population came to faith in Jesus. Most of them came to faith before they arrived at the churches, without the benefit of preaching or singing. God directly convicted them of their need for His forgiveness. Alcohol addiction disappeared, marriages were healed, and all the young people came to the churches. The prayers of the 2 housebound widows unleashed the power of God and utterly changed the life in that archipelago.